generally in the city they're one block apart, but you can, it's easier to put new ones in than it is to take old ones out, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
One of the nice things about it is you're usually in sight. If you're at a tram stop, you're in sight of another tram stop. And if you have real-time tram arrival information, you usually have these little LCD displays. Next tram, 14 minutes. Next tram, 12 minutes. Hey, look at 12 minutes. Let's just walk up to the next stop. So you find yourself doing more walking. You don't have to. You could have stood there for 12 minutes. But you do more walking up the street, looking in shop windows. Well, there's a new cafe. Hey, oh, they've got new shoes on. There's a sale on here. And good or bad, you end up spending more money, doing a little more shopping because you're there. You're not worried about getting back to your car, putting more money in the meter, getting somewhere at a particular time. You don't worry about it. Really, the goal for a tram system should be a no-schedule schedule. The only things you have to know is when's the first tram of the day come and when's the last. So I know I got to get on. I got to go home by midnight, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever time it is on that route. There's no sense going out to the tram before 5:30 a.m. because there isn't going to be any. Other than that, no one really cares. You just go and take the tram, and you don't decide. You don't predetermine your route like you have to do here. Let's see. I got to go to the mall. Then I have to go to the bank, and then I got to go over to the garage, get something for the car, and you really have to plan it out when you're in a car. If you're on a tram, well, you wouldn't have to go to the car place if you're in the tram anyway, but you just go here. It's okay, well, where do you want to go? Well, let's go over there, and we'll go make several trips back and forth right across town, just because it's easy, and you don't even think of it. It's no longer a task. Driving. And I love cars. Driving is no longer enjoyable for me. And I doubt if you could find anyone who's had their license longer than 2 weeks that still enjoys driving a car, at least in the city. Maybe you can drive up to Cultus Lake, maybe that's enjoyable. But we're down the mall. It's no fun anymore.
Brent, there's a couple of questions. Councillor Bateman and then Councillor Ferguson.
Oh, mine must be Phantom.
Okay, okay. Councillor Ferguson?
Well, mine was a Phantom, but I did want to say that on the tram, what drives the tram? The tram, you show pictures of what drives that? What's that running? Electric power?
That's electric.
Gas?
It's all electric. In Melbourne, they're all overhead.
So it's even overhead wire. Is
Yeah.
that something you recommend for future?
I'll show you some pictures.
Okay, I'll let you go on. It wasn't Phantom, but I might have asked that anyway.
Yeah, it's the conventional way of doing it. 600 volts DC. Some countries want 750 volt DC, but it's dangerous. 600 volts. Somebody climbs up there. They usually don't climb down. It's you have to watch out. You're doing construction. You've got cranes. But these are really no different than your standard safety practices should take care of all that. I'll cover some of that in the bad part because I'm not that included with that. Okay, stress-free travel. I don't think I need to explain too much about that. If you're on a tram, you're not going to get in a car accident. And you're not going to get hurt in a car accident. They're not saying there aren't tram accidents. There are occasionally, and occasionally people get hurt, but it's very rare. So, ICBC should be kicking in some money here to get people off the road. I don't know, trial lawyers may object to it, I don't know. But, yeah, it's safer. Reduce traffic congestion. Now, I've always been a believer that the user pays. Okay, I support that kind of concept. But I think, in this case, you should take it one step further, and that the beneficiary pays. So the beneficiaries of the tram system would be people who are using it, Okay, good. And even the people that aren't using it. Because if I can get a whole bunch of cars off of your road that you have to use, you're going to benefit. So I'll show you some numbers on that a little later. Also, you'll find an increase in pedestrian traffic. And if there's more people walking on the sidewalk, it's generally considered to reduce crime or to be a safer environment. If everybody's zipping by in cars, nobody's going to stop and help. If you trip and fall, there's not going to be no one's going to stop, basically. But with lots of people on the sidewalk, walking back and forth, looking in shop windows, talking to each other. Like I just said to Joe, when was the last time you were at the traffic light at 200th and number 10 highway, and you said to the guy in the car next to you, "Oh, what about that Canucks game last night?" Yeah, you don't talk to the guy in the car next to you. But if you're in a tram, you pass the time of day, you maybe see the same people. So it changes the atmosphere. Okay, more walking. Spoke about that. Multimodal transport. If we had a system that linked, let's say, to the shopping district, did to the interurban train station, wherever that is, stopped over at the bus terminals, you now have tied everything together. So someone could get off a cruise ship in Vancouver, take SkyTrain to Surrey, take interurban. Oh, I always wanted to go to Langley, but I didn't want to rent a car and travel around. And get off here, go around Langley, back on the train, easy. Another thing you'll find, I think, is that property values near the tram line will increase. I guess for the most part that's good, I suppose. Depends on whether you're paying the taxes or you're about to sell. But there is a significant difference in being able to say that you are near a tram line, near public transport, within walking distance of public transport, etc. That picture there is the same street as the earlier picture. This is after it was upgraded. You can see the curbs are a little higher there. Okay, it stops. All the new ones have to be wheelchair accessible. There are talking timetables. You press a button and it says the 109 tram is due to arrive in 3 minutes. There's also a visual display, shows the trams that are coming and when they'll arrive, ticket machines, local information. We don't pay for the shelters. There's typical shelters there. There are 2 companies that provide the shelters and they sell the walls for advertising space. And everyone seems to be perfectly happy with that arrangement there. Okay, bad stuff. There's a thing called electrolysis. I don't have a picture of it because you can't really take a picture of it. It's sort of like, well, when you electroplate something, you use electrolysis. And it's because the overhead wire starts at 650 volts, goes through the tram, through the motor, and is grounded on the rail, returns to earth on the rail. There is still some electricity in the rail, and that can tend to migrate down